Hey everybody, Stock Picks by Tim here, and in this video, I'm going to be looking over 5 stocks to buy now. But first off, we're going to look at TradingView's heat map to see what the market's doing, what's going on, and then I'm going to go over these 5 stocks. But do keep in mind that we have been rallying a little bit lately, but there is always different ways you can play this. You can set stop losses, ride the momentum. Maybe some of these could be long-term stocks, and they're just good for a DCA. Definitely different ways to play some of these stocks. So let's get right into this, starting with TradingView's heat map, and let's give it a look. And you can see that as of this upload, we are absolutely running across all sectors. Everything is green. Definitely another nice green day. And in this video, I'm going to focus a couple of smaller caps that I have been adding to lately. Alright folks, so first off, we're going to look at ChargePoint CHPT. I do think it's in a great place to continue to add. Now looking at ChargePoint on the chart, you'll see that we didn't break our May 12th lows. And ever since then, we ran all the way up to about $17, $16, started cooling back down. I think it's a great time to add to, and I'm more than happy to add to ChargePoint at this price. Now their earnings is coming sometime early September, I believe, and we're likely going to get our first quarter where we saw over 100 million in revenue. That's my expectation here. But I've stuck with ChargePoint for a while. Every quarter it just gets better and better. Their revenue continues to grow. They're expanding into Europe. Definitely recommend you look into ChargePoint, especially if you're bullish on EVs. I think this is a great play to get into. Now admittedly, their price to sales is quite high. However, this is a growth company, so this number is very likely to continue to come down as time moves on. And looking at their balance sheet, they do look pretty good with about a $540 million cash balance and about $300 million in debt. But remember guys, ChargePoint is not profitable, and they likely won't be for the next few quarters. But they are inching closer and closer towards profitability, and I definitely recommend you look into ChargePoint. Alright, so next up, we're going to be looking at INDY Semiconductors. This is definitely a very under the radar stock. No one really talks about this one, but I wanted to show you it real quick. And looking at INDY on the chart here, you'll see that we did break our $6.10, and we are trying to hold above it there. I personally think regardless of what it does, if it breaks 610, if it holds 610, I think it's still a great time to add in. And this is another story of that May 12th max fear. This has not broken its max fear. 512 is what it came down to. Roughly the $5 area, low fives is where it came down to, and we really haven't seen that since. I'm personally extremely confident in INDY. I'm extremely confident in the executive team. They have some of the best in the business. And remember that their earnings is coming out. It's scheduled for August 11th, and that's official. So definitely stay tuned to INDY. Now, if you don't have a position yet and you're considering buying before earnings, I would spread it out. I would buy a little bit before earnings, a little bit after. That's just how I would play it. I personally already hold INDY, and I'm just happy to continue to dollar cost average through it. But let me know, guys, what you think about INDY Semiconductors. Have you heard about it yet? And if you're not in INDY, are you in any other chip stocks? I definitely have a lot of faith in the semiconductor industry. Over the next 10 years, I think it is going to be one of the best industries to get into. Alright, now next up we're going to look at NIO stock. I do think it's at a great time to add to it. Now one thing to consider is we did break this upward trend line, but it does seem like we're trying to hold $20 as a support. Now me personally, anytime NIO dips to 20 or even under 20, I do like to add a little bit to it. And now is no different. I think now is a great time to add a little bit to NIO. And this is one Chinese stock that I am okay with investing in. Although I do want to keep my exposure limited, and this stock I likely won't have any more than 2-3% max. Now one thing to consider with NIO is there was a short seller report, and this happens from time to time with a lot of stocks, but it does typically push down that price, and it seems like NIO's already providing a response to this short seller report, and they said that they're going to do their own independent investigation. Now to me personally, anytime the short report comes out, 80% of the time it's all BS and it's just a great buying opportunity. So we will see if it's the same case here with NIO. So I'm going to definitely be using this opportunity as a time to add to NIO. So next up, we're going to look at a Bitcoin mining stock. I'm sure if you guys are familiar with me, you already know which one I'm about to talk about. But I think it's important to mention real quick, we are breaking out of a downward channel. And that's going to be CleanSpark. This one is now just breaking out of this downward wedge. You'll notice that volume is starting to kick in. Now one thing to consider with CleanSpark is we did break our May 11, May 12th lows with this one. But that's also due to Bitcoin's price continuing down since then. In my opinion, it's a great time to add to CleanSpark, and behind the scenes, you know, they're continuing to acquire more miners while other companies are laying low, while other companies are trying to figure out how they're going to survive. CleanSpark is continuing to add more miners, continuing to increase their exahash. Definitely love CleanSpark. This is by far my favorite Bitcoin miner, and the only other one I hold is actually Sphere 3D. And that one specifically, I'm just leaving it alone. I'm going to wait till the end of the year and then see what to do with it. But I'm not adding to Sphere 3D, and I'm also not selling it though. But CleanSpark, yes, I do see it as a great time to add to, and I'm continuing to dollar cost average through it. Next up, I wanted to talk about a stock I really haven't talked about in a while. This one actually ran up to the 20s and I just kind of left it alone, stopped talking about it. And this is going to be Cleveland Cliffs. Now this one is down here in the $16 area. It did hit a base on the 14th of July, so a very recent low. I would be careful with this one just because it has created recent lows. But I personally think at its price down here, it's a great time to add to. Just be aware that their earnings is coming up towards the end of July, so you might want to wait on that. You might want to just average through, or just wait until afterwards. But I personally see Cleveland Cliffs as a great one to add to. And if you want some exposure to the steel industry, this one would be a great choice. I believe they're the largest rolled steel manufacturer in North America. And really quick, just looking at Cleveland Cliffs, you'll see that they've got a price to sales of 0.3. Price to book is only 1.24, very reasonable. Forward PE of only 2.38. They're currently profitable with a profit margin of about 16-17%. But one thing to consider with this is they do only have 35 million in cash and 5 billion in debt. So that is definitely something to think about, but they are profitable. So this isn't just going to continue to get worse. It's very likely that they are going to be able to service this debt, get it lower while also building up their cash balance. I wouldn't be all too worried about this. I would be worried about it if they weren't profitable. But that's all I got for you today, guys. What do you think about these 5 stocks? And what are you looking out for in the market lately? Don't forget to leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and take it easy.